Hello and welcome everybody back to What's Going On. I am Gabe. I am, I guess, the co-host now of your podcast.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you. It's the team of two.
The team of two.
Excellent.
Yes, we are your hosts. I'm Leanna and this is Gabe. Or Gabriel, if you want a government name him.
Don't do that.
Okay. Okay, Gabriel. So today we're going to be exploring the complex dynamics of the 7M viral incident. We're going to be looking at what happened with that. So a group, perhaps a cult. Fun, because we love a cult.
We have covered this sort of thing before in a previous episode.
Yep. And we're going to look at the social media culture that contributed to it, basically. And then, because I'm a little nerd, we're going to look at the psychology behind the link between social media and mental health, kind of our opinions on if we think social media is good or bad, if there is a link or not with mental health. But yeah, so this is the case of the 7M TikTok controversy.
7M.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, so let's dive in.
I have no idea what this is, so I'm going in completely
Fascinating,
blind.
because you're the one that recommended the documentary
Did
to
I?
me. Yes,
Oh, okay,
you
cool.
Because you saw it. I think you saw a trailer for it and was like, you should watch this. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, I will then.
Probably, yeah.
But no, it was actually really interesting. So this became it was a quite viral last year. And it kind of was a good picture about social media at the moment, I think. It also comes back to how when we did the episode on twin flames, how I said to you that a lot of cults had popped up during COVID. This was one of them.
Okay.
Or at least this is when people became aware of it. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the psychology behind social media and its link to mental health. And then, yeah, it's just a cult, basically, again.
Cult or a high control
It's a cult.
group? Okay. We're diving in and saying it's a cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's still going on. It's still
It's another
active,
one that's active.
yeah.
Okay.
But I will do the trigger warnings now. So there is going to be a discussion of mental health issues, body image, bullying, online harassment, and some other disturbing content. So there is a trigger warning if anyone needs it. This definitely isn't as bad as our last episode. There is no graphic details. It's mostly discussions about sexual abuse.
Oh, good. Fun.
Yes. But no one gets murdered,
Yet.
as far as I'm aware.
Nice.
So
What is 7M?
So 7M is linked to this church called Shekinah Church.
What's this church?
Hot take. So it's led by a man called Robert Shin. So they have Shekinah Church, and 7M claims that it's a talent management company, basically. Interestingly, 7M stands for the Seven Mountain Mandate, which is a dominionist conservative Christian movement within evangelical Christianity. So it suggests that believers should seek to dominate 7 key areas of society: family, religion, education, media, arts and entertainment, business, and government.
I mean, just the word dominate in there is already making it sound not so great, but okay.
Yes. But that's basically, there wasn't a lot of background on the church because it was mainly focused on 7M. It was mainly focused on 7M and TikTok and basically the dancers. So it's a group of dancers because this all became viral when the Wilking family spoke out because their daughter is within the group. So I'm going to give you a bit of background.
Please do.
On the Wilking sisters. So this is Melanie and Miranda. So they grew up, they always had this passion for dancing. I think Miranda moved to California first around 2017. She was on that show, I don't know if you ever watched it or whether it's still going, probably not, but the So You Think You Can Dance?
I've heard of it, yeah. The one where they think they can dance. and they
Yeah,
try
this is a
and-
dance
It's a
competition.
dance competition.
But she was on that. I think she got through like a few rounds. But so Melanie followed her because they're quite close as sisters, and they found they couldn't like audition together for things because most people don't want
Two people.
like dual auditions.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they ended up moving. They ended up moving to LA, and they started social media together, and they kind of created their own brand called the Wilkins Sisters. And they became really popular on TikTok when it was still Musical.ly.
Oh, okay.
So one of the first viral things on TikTok was dance videos.
Sure.
So they got a lot of their fame and got very popular off of that.
I forgot TikTok used to be Musical.ly.
Yeah.
That's weird. That triggered something in my brain. Yeah.
Because it used to be all about like music and dancing.
Yeah.
And now it's like brain rot meme central.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it.
I was going to say like every single other bit of social media at the moment, but still.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the Wilkins Sisters. A little bit of background about the church. I wasn't really sure how to organize these. So I'm going to start with the allegations against the group and then kind of go into the people.
Sure.
So when the Wilkins family came out, they did like a live stream, sort of spoke about their daughter, sister. And then I think there was a couple of, again, with Twin Flames, articles came out. People were like, is this a cult or is it just, like an innocent company?
Innocent's not the word, but yeah.
So the allegations against the group are abusive behaviour.
Okay.
Financial exploitation. This is all going to be sounding very familiar. So yeah, there's claims of sexual exploitation of female members. So there's claims of the church management company, because you can't really separate the two, take up to between 70 and 80% of their clients' earnings.
Sorry, 17 or 70?
70.
70 to 80%.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So the former members have come forward. So this is a lot of their, this is all like their accounts of it. So they were saying that 7M would take a 20% management fee. So this is former members that were, these are all a group of dancers.
Okay.
This is not just, because they had church members and then they had members of 7M that kind of then got into the church because it was kind of the same thing. But not all people that were in the church were in 7M. But people in 7M, yeah, so 20% management fee. That's very standard. Most management companies will take 20%, so nothing weird there.
That's fine.
They'd then be paying about 10% rent, and they all lived in housing provided by 7M.
Okay.
So that 10% is going to 7M.
Mm-hmm.
They then pay 10% tithe, which is the 10% Bible offering.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Which, again, is not... You hear that and you think, yeah, no, that's not anything weird. I wouldn't think that was anything weird going on, because if you are a part of the church, a lot of people do give tithe as donation to their church.
Yeah.
They then gave 10% for Man of God. So Man of God offering is, so they believe Robert Shin was a man of God.
What does that mean exactly?
So a man of God is like King David in the Bible, like kind of like a leader.
Not a prophet. Or
I'm going to look up the definition before I
get that wrong,
because I know some of our friends are religious and they'll kill me if
I don't think they'll kill you, but yeah, I've just not come across that term before, man of God, to be honest.
A biblical title of respect applied to prophets, beloved religious leaders, and even an angel.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That it was a religious leader.
Okay, so someone who is literally linked to God, like has a connection to him, as it were. Cool. Okay.
And then there's another 10% offering on top of that. So they pay, that's 70%.
Okay.
It can be a little bit higher than that. And then you've got to remember they also have to pay taxes on top of this.
God, America, yeah.
So a lot of the dancers said that when all this was gone, they were actually only left with about 10% of their own income.
Jeez.
So they were earning a lot of money. A lot of them became quite famous. But if you think like you're literally, say you earn £10,000 in a month from brand deals, social media, whatever.
Yeah.
And you would get, what, 1,000 of that?
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's not good.
That's enough, barely enough to live on.
Yeah, I didn't, because I guess they didn't include bills. I don't know if their bills were included with their
No, of
rent.
course, yeah.
But yeah, so that was the big financial exploitation. There's been accusations of arranged marriages within the church.
Okay.
There's been accusation that members are encouraged to cut off family members.
Oh, I'm thinking, I'm
Yeah,
seeing
you're
something else come
you're
here.
thinking,
Okay.
yeah. So one of their concepts, which I'm going to throw in now, because it didn't really come up a lot. Like the actual concept didn't come up more than once in all the research I did, but the outcome of the concept was just
Wild.
throughout. So
Okay.
their main concept, or one of, is this idea of dying to yourself. So it's the idea that if there's something you like really want or need, you have to die to it in order for it to be resurrected. So members were told to die to their families in order to save them and get them to heaven. Because obviously, like, I think this is quite like
No, I'm hoping not literally.
no, like by cutting them off, basically.
Oh.
Because if you're dying to your family, if you're cutting them off, having no contact, it's like you're dead to them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like one of the members was told to like die to his own son.
Jesus.
Yeah. So.
Not him, but yeah.
But like, I think that's quite, because there's quite a concept like, or idea in religion that non-believers don't get into heaven. That's like general. That's not like.
So I can't. You say that. My immediate thought is the Family Guy skit of Peter talking to God.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about that.
Sorry.
But yeah, so that like not believing you won't get into heaven. So they kind of took that and was like, well, you can get your family into heaven if you die to them, you'll save them, kind of thing. But the whole idea is to cut your family off.
Yeah, basically, it's an exception or a reason to get people more alone and vulnerable.
Which is a big thing that
Which
cults
is what
do.
we've seen before. Anyone who hasn't watched Twin Flame Universe episodes, please go back and watch them. You'll know a lot about what we're talking about here.
Yes. But that's all the allegations against them. So yeah, abusive behaviour, financial and sexual exploitation, arranged marriages, and cutting off of family members. So that's the accusations against it. And then I'm now going to talk about sort of the people involved. So I'm going to start off with Miranda, who was one of the Wilkins sister. She's now Miranda Derrick, just because she was kind of the first person that came into the spotlight because of the Wilkins family coming out and being like, this is our situation, this is what's happening. So in 2019, when Miranda and Melanie were doing the Wilkins sister brand, they got a DM, direct message.
I got
that. From a dancer known as B-Dash, who was James Derrick. That led to a collaboration and a romance between him and Miranda. Oh yeah, I know. So James at this point was already part of 7M and Shekinah Church. And he introduced Miranda to them, who then joined in 2020. So again, this is all very recent.
Sure.
And so she became a member of the church. Melanie, her sister, said that she wasn't like a member, but she kind of tried it out, I guess, because she obviously wanted to be with her sister. And she said she was invited to a dinner at Robert Shin's house. And apparently this was something they did a lot, was just like dinner with a lot of the other members and Robert.
Okay.
And she said she had experienced like quite like intense religious pressure. Like Robert sat there and told her like she was a sinner and she'd sinned 1,000 times that day and that she was going to hell, but it was fine because they were there to save her. And she said they like sat down, like she was in the middle and they're like in a circle around her.
Jesus,
and they're like laying hands on her, which is a thing I remember my experience in church. You know, if someone was praying for you, they would lay hands on you.
I think that's
Normally they ask first though. They'll come to you and they'll say, can I lay hands on you? And you'll say yes or no. She said they were all laid hands on her, whether with consent or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were all like speaking in tongues and praying for her. And if you're not like, if you've never had a really
religious experience like that,
that's quite intense. Like
Yeah.
I've heard someone speak in tongues before, and that was just one person, and that was quite like
jarring.
jarring is a bad word.
Why is jarring a bad word?
Jarring is like irritating.
Oh, okay.
It's just quite like if you've never heard it before, it's like, oh my god.
I thought jarring was surprising, but yeah.
No, jarring means irritating.
That's my bad.
And so to have like, 5, 6, 7, how many people there all speaking in tongues, or like 4 of them speaking in tongues, I can imagine like that's quite
a performance.
Yeah, that's. Don't know if you can use the word performance. Well, because I guess that's the atheist argument, is that it's not real, but
I'm not saying nothing.
okay. But anyway, yeah, I can imagine it was quite, a lot.
Surreal. Let's go with that.
So that kind of put her off, and then she also said that there was this thing where you couldn't just go to a service. You had to be invited to a service.
Okay.
And she was invited one day. Robert's daughter called her and was like, the pastor really wants you to hear his words today. But she was picking a friend up from the airport, and she was like, oh, I can't make it. And they kind of made it out like, if he wants you to go to a service, you have to drop everything and go. So she was like, I can't give this level of commitment.
Yeah.
It's not for me. So she didn't join.
Respectfully bowing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she thought it was kind of, still a bit weird, but like
an intense religious organization, but generally harmless.
Yeah, like her sister seemed quite happy.
Yeah.
But then started changing.
Okay.
So she said that Miranda slowly had started like cutting down contact. Like at first you don't really think anything of it, like, busy life.
You spend more time with someone new in a new organization with new people. Yeah.
She was becoming very popular as well, so had her own stuff going on. But she said that she also just stopped doing videos with her.
Okay.
She had cut her hair really short, dyed it blonde. And completely changed her dancing style, which is not something that's relatively common within the dancing community. You don't really do like one type of dance and then change into something completely different.
Okay.
She also said that when their grandfather passed, 30 minutes before Miranda's flight, she called the family to say she couldn't come because she had COVID.
Okay.
And Melanie was a bit like,
Sus.
We had COVID last month. Both sisters had it. So she had kind of said to Miranda, like, is that really it? What's going on? And Miranda kind of broke down on the phone and was like she just couldn't come. Like, she wasn't actually ill, but she couldn't come for reasons they wouldn't understand.
Okay.
And she kept saying like, oh, I have to see. And her parents kind of like said to her like,
look, this is your granddad.
No, like, who do you have to ask?
Oh, okay.
Like, why? And she said she would have to ask someone who was closer to God than you. So I believe that she never went to her grandfather's funeral. I think she did come out later and said that it was part of her own grieving process why she didn't go.
Okay.
Which I also understand, because some people just can't face it.
Yeah, grieving is unique to each person.
But around 2021, Miranda and James got married, which is why she's now Miranda Derrick.
Sure.
Her family found this out through social media.
So they didn't get invited to the wedding.
No.
Yikes.
So they were all a bit like, okay, what's going on? Is this marriage real?
Sure.
Which arranged marriages. And so around like later that year, Melanie saw that they were doing a live show and went to the live show to try and speak to her. And she said that she saw her and she bumped into her in the bathroom and she just hugged her, and she said it was like hugging a wall, like emotionless and cold, and like didn't really speak to her.
I think we've all been in that situation.
What, when someone's hugged you and you've been like,
No, I think, trying to comfort someone and them not wanting it or
I've
not
never
feeling
been in that
reciprocated. Have you
situation.
not?
No.
I think if you, I suppose it's different if you're like, if it's someone you sort of used to be close to. I think that's probably more accurate as people experience. Like you used to be close to this person, you want to see them. It's like, oh my god, you still have that familiarity, and they've almost just moved on with their life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's her sister, bro.
exactly. Yeah, that's a bit much.
That she found out was only married from social media.
Yikes.
But yeah, and then she said that she also, so James, Miranda's now husband, had made a post for Miranda on social media for her birthday, and Melanie had commented on it saying like, "Oh, happy birthday! Like sending you all the love, like wishing you the best." She said that within a few minutes, that comment got deleted, and then she and her parents all got blocked on social media.
Ooh. Sounds like someone has just had to die for their family.
Yes.
Oh dear.
So that was Miranda.
Mhm.
I've got a little bit on James, just because I saw there was a YouTube video I was watching where they didn't the main documentary mostly like focused on the Wilkins sister, but the other documentary I watched actually interviewed some of James's old friends.
Okay.
So he had a friend called Joey Turman who he used to be in a dance group with, and he said that he'd noticed a change in James, and actually said they'd been in a cult together before.
So he's already quite susceptible.
So they had been members of a church in LA that had prophesied that they would win this dance competition they were in.
Mm-hmm.
They lost.
Yeah.
But he said that that church requires significant time, dedication, and cutting off family ties, and they had both realised it was a cult and had got out.
Right.
There was also another friend called Samantha Long that had known James for a really long time, knew all about his like childhood trauma. So again, another vulnerable person.
Yes. Yeah.
She didn't go into what it was, and I couldn't find anything really about his background. But she said that she'd had this phone call with him and had said like, I'm really upset that you didn't tell me about your engagement and your wedding, and I thought we were friends, and
yeah. Of course.
And she said that he sounded really robotic almost.
Okay.
Kind of like kind of almost like like call center people that
like
have
a
scripts.
pre-programmed response, essentially. Yeah. So someone had almost been feeding him lines of like, you're supposed to cut these people off if they try and.
This is like the approved things you can say.
Yeah. Okay.
But he had said to her like, like especially like to the response to her saying like, I'm upset about not knowing about like you getting married.
Yeah.
He said, I'm married now, things change.
That's not really a response.
No.
I
can't think that if I got married,
That's not how you talk to people.
Would say that to someone.
No.
Well, I mean, you can say that to people in certain circumstances. Yeah.
But that's a very odd response to that specific point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he was. I just wanted to point that out because it seems like he was already a vulnerable person.
To a point, people do change, but that sort of drastic turnaround on someone who used to be quite close to you doesn't seem organic, as it were.
Yeah. I think the thing with like these dancers that left, they were all quite religious before.
Okay.
So they were all like either actively religious, or a lot of them said that they'd been in a church before, like a normal church, and because they'd moved about, they were looking for another church or to restart their relationship with God, and that's what what was appealing to them about Shekinah. Was because it was a talent management company that was also a religious community.
So you would hope it had that sort of the same moral values that a church would have. Yeah. But of course, because we're talking, it's an American associated company, isn't it?
Yes.
Basically, yeah. So it's all happening in America, which is generally still quite a religious country, Christian specifically. So yeah, that makes sense. People, they grow up with a church And if they go off to pursue their ambitions, they would join another one.
It's a comforting thing.
Of course
as
it is.
well,
It is a
yeah.
lot for a lot of people, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
But yeah, I don't know if there's that many cults in the UK. Has there been?
I guess.
I said this when we did Twin Flames, is that it always feels like it's America.
I guess. But, I mean, there probably are cults in the UK, but I guess we're just the wrong demographic for them, for us to be targeted.
The only thing that comes up is a BBC article from 2023.
Okay.
Inside Lighthouse, the life coaching cult that takes over lives.
I don't think that's the one that Ed was a part of. That's not a cult, technically.
Wasn't that a pyramid scheme?
Kind of.
Apparently, it's a pioneering life coaching mentoring group.
It sounds like the stuff Ed talk about, but we talk about Ed a lot on this podcast. Ed,
We
I hope if you watch this,
do.
thumbs up.
Yeah, everything else that comes up is kind of like links to charities that has been set up to help people leave
Cults.
or have left religions and cults.
Well, I tell you what, googling it won't find your cults because nothing is going to come out and say, "Hey, we're a cult, join us."
No, right? Yeah, okay. Do you want to put money on that?
Oh no!
If
Oh,
I
am I
now
wrong?
Google US cults,
Okay, that's different because that's UK versus
four
US.
notorious cults in American history. American cult, 5 spiritual groups that went too far. Most famous cults in US history.
Yeah, but but you can't join any of those, can you?
Well, some are still going. So
Oh,
yeah,
God,
you can join Twin Flames, you can join
Are those-
7M,
no.
you can join
But are
16 dangerous cults that still exist in the US. That was from one day
those... Oh
ago.
my God, okay. Maybe.
Oh yeah, because think about NXIVM, or I don't know if you actually said that. You know, the one they were like trafficking people. It was like that woman from Small Town.
I don't know
No.
anything about that, no.
Okay, they were like branding
Okay.
people. It was
Ugh,
trafficking. It was like sexual trafficking.
yikes.
Yeah, that was recent.
Fair.
I remember that. I remember that news coming out.
Well,
But anyway, yeah. So
I'll tell you what, the fact that we don't have many cults in this country, yeah, another reason to be
proud to be British.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe we're just better at hiding it.
Maybe. We do come across as villains in a lot of American movies because we are.
Or maybe we're just more secretive about it.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a bit of background on Miranda and James. There wasn't actually like too much information about them, just because this only happened 2 years ago. When
2 years
this
ago.
all came out because the Wilkins family did a live stream.
Oh yeah.
In 2022. So they went on a live stream to talk about the group and how they hadn't been able to see or speak to Miranda. And this kicked off a lot of social media detective pages, and you know what
There was a backlash.
we would
against
be
the
referred
group.
to as armchair detectives.
Are we armchair detectives?
Yeah, that's what people are called.
Oh, is it?
You know, not actual police or detectives, like because you're sitting in the comfort of your own
Sure.
home,
Yeah.
researching and making up your own opinions.
I don't know if that's a detective. This is something we do for fun. We're not really trying to influence anyone. We just do this because it's cool. We like doing it. So.
Have you ever listened to a true crime? No, you haven't, have you? Okay.
No, I haven't.
Well, we would probably be referred to as armchair detectives.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know.
But maybe not as much because you know, this is more an open discussion, whereas a lot of these pages were finding public records, making links between things.
Sure.
And I also, this is a great point to say that this is all alleged, by the way.
Okay.
We are not saying
there was any.
this has happened, because I don't want to be sued.
We are not confirming or denying that any specific thing happened.
This is all allegations.
Speculation.
This is our own speculation.
Yeah. It's a discussion.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a topic.
But yeah, so they did this live stream, which is when it all kind of kicked off. A lot of news articles started coming out. A lot of the dancers lost brand deals. for it. So James frames this issue as racism
What?
and disapproval of his financial status. So after this live stream happened, he basically made a post. I think it might have been on X, saying that they were basically trying to do, like, saying all this stuff because they didn't approve of the fact that a beautiful white woman moved in with a poor black man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. If that's the case, then that is also fucking shoddy. But
Yeah. I find it hard to believe, though, because when they first started dating, it very much seemed like they very much welcomed James into the family.
sure, yeah.
He spent a lot of time with them. And yeah, I don't know,
Is he just playing? No, I don't want to say that.
playing the race card.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because you don't know. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. Maybe they don't like him because they don't want their white daughter with a black guy. It's an outdated view, but you don't know.
There is, people do still have, opinions and views like that, which is just so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they were very upset that they didn't know she got married,
which is an understandable reaction,
Yeah.
especially if you were like quite a close-knit family.
yeah,
which is
it's
what it sounds
really
like they were.
it's heartbreaking to find out that someone got married and you didn't know about it, Dad. Where was my invite?
I'm not offended. I wasn't around.
Yeah, no. But yeah, like you just don't know. They've obviously said no, it's absolutely nothing to do with his race and being poor, which I don't believe that he was.
If he's a dancer and influencing dancer,
he would have been making a lot of money. But then again, if it's all going to the church, maybe he was poor.
Maybe he was poor, but then that's kind of his own fault for giving the church all his money.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, at a certain point, how much work is it for them to be managing a contract? I don't know anything about this, to be fair. But like, once you do enough work, you can kind of, I would assume, knowing the little about industry as I do, you kind of build your own connections and can work from there.
I think because it's about bookings and I don't know, because I know that, so Robert has a son called Isaiah who does a lot of the videography for them.
Okay.
And it's also said that Robert even chose the songs that they danced to because he knew what would go viral. Like, he's very good at what he does.
Sure. I was going to say, what kind of dancing is it that they do?
I don't know what it's called. Because I knew that, so James was part of the crunk scene. Originally.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is
yeah, I know what crunk is.
It's like Soul Meets Street, isn't it? It's because it's got religious backgrounds. I think.
I feel like I watched a documentary on it when I was like in school about crunk.
About crunk.
Yeah. God, that's.
But he definitely doesn't really do that anymore.
No.
Like I have seen like some of the videos. And I don't know how to describe it other than TikTok dancing.
Okay. Crunk is a fantastic word.
Sorry, it's crumping.
Crumping. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because one of his friends was called something. His nickname was Crunk. That's why I'm thinking
I was gonna
of Crunk.
say,
yeah.
Crumping. Yeah.
It evolved through African American street dance.
That's it. Yes. Yeah, I definitely remember seeing something in like primary school about it.
Yeah, it's characterized by free, expressive, exaggerated, and highly energetic movement. People who originated crumping saw the dance as a means for them to escape gang life.
Yes, it was like, I swear it was like, I might be making this up. There was something about crunking versus clowning or something.
It was derived from clowning.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not that cool. Nice.
Clowning was initially created as a dance to entertain children. Yeah. Crumping evolved into a popular street dance.
Oh, that's cool. I remembered one thing from a documentary I watched years and years ago.
But it's not.
No.
That.
No. Okay, that's fine.
It is just like.
It's just dancing.
It's TikTok dancing.
Oh, okay. So it's just right. So yeah, I guess.
I don't know what you'd I say it was more like clowning, to be honest, because it's just purely entertainment purposes.
That's
really
true. Yeah, it comes back.
comes
all
back
the way
around. Yeah.
There you go.
Um.
It's no longer about expression. It's about
But yeah.
money.
Well, that's what he said it was about.
Okay.
So apparently within 7M, because this happened when a lot of the dancers were still there, and they said it was like framed as an attempt to control Miranda, like her family was trying to control her.
Okay.
They also said at this time, the church started becoming a lot stricter. Like the services started becoming like a lot more intense and like more extreme. One of them was like, it was like mid-service, a load of NDAs were passed around for them to sign.
Jesus.
And at this point, they kind of all like, this is a little weird, having NDAs. Why do we
In
need
a
NDAs?
church, yeah.
Well, because it's 7, it's the talent management company. Because they try and separate it, but it's kind of
yeah.
It's run by the same guy. If you're in 7M, you're in the church, basically.
Sure.
But a lot of the members started like talking to each other, and they were like, I've had this experience, or I've heard this, and they all kind of started realizing that there was a lot of weird stuff going on. So a lot of them did leave.
Okay.
Especially as, like, with the articles coming out, a lot of them were losing brand deals because no one really wanted to work with them, because if it's a cult, then it's
bad press.
It's a bad image. Yeah,
cult is bad press.
Interestingly, in May 2022, a man called Daniel, who was basically Robert's right-hand man, had been in the church since he was a kid, basically, and Chloe, who is Robert's daughter, left the church.
Oh.
Now, I feel like when the pastor's daughter and his right-hand man both leave, something's up.
They're seeing something that's going on that they're not agreeing with. Yeah.
So that triggered an exodus of members to leave.
Sure.
And then by July 2022, half of the original dancers had left.
Wow.
So half of them are still in there.
Fair enough.
But at this point, Robert changed his approach, encouraging members to see their families.
Okay.
So Miranda has met with her family a few times. Melanie says it's all for show, basically. She said the encounters feel very superficial. She's always posting things or making sure there's pictures up for social media.
Right.
And it's just, it feels very...
You're doing this because
you want to show the public that...
You're almost contractually obligated to do these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it all feels like a little strange. So since then, and like up until now, the Wilkins family have reached out to other families who have shared similar experiences with their own children. A lot of them have children that are still within the church and within 7M that they have also said, like, they see a few times, they have very limited contact with. There was like one parent that was like, we do text, but it always feels like someone else's, like they believe that whoever's writing the text is not him, it's someone else within the church.
Their manager is managing their text inbox, sort of thing.
It was like, list of approved things you can say.
PR approved messages or whatever it is.
Because it's like, they're being accused of cutting off family members. This is just like public pleasing, really, isn't it?
Sure, yeah.
You can't accuse them of cutting off family members if they're seeing their family.
Yeah, it's smart. It's horrible. It's smart.
But they have actually spoken to human trafficking. But the human trafficking services in the US have kind of said, like, there's nothing we can do because the victims are adults who went in willingly.
I was gonna say,
so unless they come out and say, I need help, this is happening, they can't get involved.
Yeah,
and they also said that, like, typically in these cases, if, there hasn't been someone within that has asked for help, if they send in police, it can actually make things so much worse for people that are in there, like in terms of control and abuse. So they're like, our hands are tied, like we can't do anything. The only thing we can like say is try and encourage them to leave or to ask for help.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's a bit about the families and why it's kind of come into the public eye. But that's all I've got on 7M, because 7M is quite recent.
Okay.
The church, however,
How long has the church been going for?
so the church was founded in 1994.
Okay, so yeah, a couple of 20 odd years earlier.
Yeah.
Mm.
How long's that been going on for? Like 30 years? Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah.
So this is kind of when it gets dark.
Oh, good.
So this is past, cutting off family and giving all your money to these people. So yeah, Shekinah was founded in 1994 with an initial focus on a religious community for Korean Americans in LA.
Okay.
So Robert Shin is Korean, Korean American, I think. Not sure. But it started off as a community for those who because obviously Korean culture is very different from American culture.
Yeah.
American culture is very Western, individualized, whereas Korean is community based.
Sure.
So a lot of former members that have come out have said it really did start as a community, and it was a great place to be. It gave people to somewhere to belong.
Lovely. Yeah. What you want a church community to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did say that so the way it was kind of became was members were given housing owned by Robert Shin and his sister Catherine. They said they were relocated every 6 to 8 months. That roommates were assigned. There were curfews in place. I think they couldn't go out after 10. A lot of these members were younger people.
Okay.
I will say that. It was kind of not children, but adolescents.
94. I might be getting my history wrong. Is that around the Korean Civil War? I'm not sure.
You're really asking the wrong person.
Just because I'm thinking, if there were refugees or whatever it is from
They
South
weren't
Korea.
refugees, I don't think.
No? Okay.
Okay, so the Korean War?
I think when Korea split between North and South. I completely could be getting this wrong.
Yeah, that was 1953.
Much later. Okay, ignore me. That's fine.
You can tell we're not history buffs.
I should be. My uncle is a history teacher.
Oh, he's not going to like that if he listens to this.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, they weren't. It was Korean American, so not necessarily even first wave.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah, fair
could be in
enough.
second wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they said there was curfews. They didn't choose their food either. And there were also mandatory worship sessions, which are an hour every morning.
Okay.
See, I see this and I'm still
I mean,
not weird.
It's not weird.
Because you got to think that you've got to put it in the context of Korean, Asian culture is very different to ours. It is community based. It's very much caring about other people.
Yeah.
So to have this community of people in housing and moving around a lot and having curfews and stuff isn't really weird to me when what I saw that it was quite a lot of younger people, because it's kind of just not an orphanage but a group home kind of thing,
okay.
looking after these people.
Yeah. Social services sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of. But they said that members were given a spiritual mentor, and everything had to be reported to this person.
Spiritual mentor.
Including their thoughts. So Robert Shin believes that every thought you have comes from either God or the devil. So that's why it's important to tell your spiritual leader, because
But didn't you realise that your thoughts come from your brain?
clearly not. Anyway.
Did no one feel like telling him that?
Well, because they are all religious. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you think that because you're not religious.
not necessarily. But okay, sure. I think even if I was religious, I don't think that my thoughts would come from God. I think our own experiences our own internal experiences come from ourselves. Our outside influences could be influenced by a divine being or whatever, if you want to look at it that way. But I would never say that anything internal that you do.
I feel like that's not the point you should be kind of concentrating on.
I know.
It's the point that they had to report every single one.
Okay, yeah, fine. That's not good. I'm just saying. I'm pulling the free will card out here. All right.
Yeah. But yes, they had to report their thoughts. Any purchases required approval. And this was backed up by former dance members who said like if they wanted to go somewhere, or like one guy was like, I wanted to buy a new pair of shoes, they had to run it by their spiritual mentor.
Jesus.
And
okay.
Daniel was one of these spiritual mentors, the guy that left. So he said that they also said that like church, so Robert has a lot of other businesses. He doesn't just own the church and 7M.
Oh.
He also owns like
property, if they're doing a
property
rent.
was the big one. So but like all these businesses are worked by the church members.
Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of them said that like they never really saw real earnings. So one of the members said that she had money deposited into her account, like a normal wage, quite a high wage actually. But Robert's wife had full access to her bank account.
Okay.
And would write checks that she would have to sign that would take money out of that bank account, and it would go to the church or Robert, or it would pay for other members' expenses. And she wasn't actually allowed to touch her own bank account.
Right.
And she said that she was given an allowance of $80 a week.
That's not a lot. Even back then, that's not a lot.
His businesses made millions, especially his property ones. Like it was like a state agency.
Of course.
Made millions of dollars, and she said she had an allowance of 80. I guess because all it doesn't make it any better. Like their rent and food and everything was paid for.
Yeah, but still, you need more than $80 a week to live on.
Yeah, because she was working as well. But yeah. So that was a bit like on the church. Apparently a notable event was in 2008. Half a dozen women confronted Robert during a sermon.
Oh.
Accusing him of sexual assault.
Christ.
Saying that he had promised them that he would marry them in exchange for sexual favours, unaware he had already taken a wife. I just put this in because this gives you a picture of what he's like. He responded by saying he had been seduced by the women and that he was only human and a man who had given in to temptation, and asked his followers for forgiveness.
Naughty Robert.
I know.
Oh dear.
So it was at this point several women left, including his sister, left the church. Now, his sister ran a lot of the workforce.
Oh.
So a lot of the workforce left with her. So I think that's kind of why. So that was kind of like Shekinah became a good community thing, and then it kind of went a bit downhill in 2008, and it's sort of like picked up again. And
yeah, of course. At that
it's
point,
now back in the public eye.
I was going to say at that point, you only have sort of the true believers or the
ones that are in too deep.
Yeah. I'm not good with words today. It's not gone very well at all. But yes, that there are certain people who are just fanatics. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, that was what I could find in the church. So I'm now going to talk about these two sisters who were part of the church. So not 7M, they're part of the church.
Okay.
And their names are Melanie again and Priscilla Lee.
Oh God. Okay. Too many Melanies.
For reference for this next section, when I say Melanie, I mean Melanie Lee, not Melanie Wilking.
Thank you. That's just as helpful for me as it will be for the audience.
So they were both former members of the church. They both joined in 2001. So they were born in South Korea. Their father abandoned them, and their mum struggled with alcohol and gambling addictions before they moved to LA. She said that, I can't remember which one of them said, but their mum kind of like would disappear for like months at a time. So it very much became Priscilla looking after Melanie. So Priscilla's the older sister. And they found Shekinah and joined it because, you know, they wanted a community.
Of course. They needed to look after themselves.
Yeah.
In the community, it's a lot easier, yeah.
So I think that's why I was thinking orphanage, because I was thinking about these two sisters
People
without
being taken
parents.
in,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But they kind of came forward, and I would say the main driving force against Robert right now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Obviously the Wilking family is involved, but these sisters are, I think, the
They're
main
against
advocates.
the church against the specific individual, whereas the Wilking family are against...
They just want their sister back.
Yeah. They're against the
They also know each
corporation.
other. They because actually Melanie had said to the Wilkins family the fact that you're still seeing her and allowing her to do this. You're fueling it. You're paying the meter.
Okay.
You're allowing him to control her, basically.
Right, fair enough.
Because they also said, this is a point I forgot to mention, but every time they see Miranda, they're not allowed to talk about the church or Robert or 7M, because Miranda will turn around and say, if you talk about that, I won't see you again.
Right, okay.
So it just feels like every time they see her, it's on eggshells.
It's on her terms, yeah.
Yeah. No idea if they've like really seen each other since, but I have like been on her Miranda's Instagram, and like all the comments in her videos are like, you know what will make this video better? Your sister.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're really like savage. But yeah, so they kind of got involved again because Melanie was sent, Melanie Lee
Thank you.
was sent the video of the Wilkins family live stream, and she said that it wasn't until the end that she kind of realized they were talking about Robert, and even then she was like, I don't know if it is. So she was then going through the social media pages, the armchair detectives.
Sure.
And she said her response to it was instantly, no fucking way he's still around. Because so Melanie was in Shekinah for about 10 years. She said that she never thought she'd ever have to talk about it again. She thought it was over. She thought Robert and the church was gone, until this all came back up on social media.
Wow.
Her instant concern was for her sister.
Sure.
Because she believed her sister was still in the group.
Right.
So when they joined the community, it was like just her and her sister. And she said that the senior members really became like the family they didn't have, like the parents. But they, after a while, when they got moved around, they ended up being separated from each other.
Oh,
and they never really saw each other again.
Yeah.
But she said that like her experiences in the church was, she said it was like a good community. But she said around 2005, so they've been in there 4 years, she developed this really painful rash on her face. Like, it was keeping her awake at night because it was like excruciating. It just wouldn't go away. And then Robert baptized her in the sea. And then a couple of days later,
Cleared up.
That's
good timing.
So she said that like people were like crying because they thought they'd witnessed a miracle when Robert claimed he'd healed her. And people started like truly believing he was a man of God. She said that she's still not sure if it was a miracle or whether it was the mixture of the rubbing alcohol she'd been using on her skin
finally kicked in,
mixed with the salt water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was a bit like, to this day, she's like, maybe it was. Because I think that's another part of when people get out of this group, especially when it's based on religion, it's then quite hard when, you know, you still want to believe in the religion and have your faith,
of course,
but try and separate that
from the individuals,
from the cult.
The harm that it's been done, of course.
But she kind of said that at that point she knew that Robert had like been asking female members for massages.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But it was kind of like a rumor, I guess. Like no one really spoke about it. But she, like, one day he had invited to his house, and she realized it was not a rumor, because so their interactions started with massages, quite innocent massages, like just, you know, on your back, and like just one-on-one time. She didn't say this, but other members had said that that's how it all started with them, was massage, like normal massages, and then he would ask you to get closer and closer to his crotch, basically. And one of them said it was, you know, it was ages after they left they realized he was desensitizing them to it. Because it wasn't like, you know, one day massaging his back, the next day he's like, touch me.
I guess.
It was like closer and closer. But he'd like kind of turned around at some point and asked her to be his mistress, because he'd said that, like King David in the Bible, a man of God was allowed mistresses.
I'm
pretty sure adultery is a sin, right?
Adultery is a sin. Yeah. That's a big thing in the Bible. Because marriage is sacred, basically. It's a lot of reasons why religious communities is like wait until marriage, because it's a sacred thing and whatever like that. So yeah, I think he's picking and choosing some things that don't really I know, don't really make sense there.
He's just a grim man.
He's a grim man.
But she actually had a friend outside the church, which I think was quite uncommon. Like most people, all their friends were in the church, but it was her only friend outside the church called Marquis. She told him this happened, and he was like, you need to get out, you need to leave. And so they kind of were like, yeah, this isn't right. And so they formulated a plan for her to leave, like while she was transitioning houses, because they're still being moved around.
Yeah, of course.
And I think this is such an important thing. I think it's a point we made last time about how when you're in it you don't really see it, and she's incredibly lucky she had a friend outside the community who could be like, no, that's weird,
not right.
That's not right, because when you are in it things become so normalized you don't realize.
Absolutely.
But she also said that a week before the move, Robert called her and said she had to sleep with another person in the group.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And she kind of said to him, like, can I have some time to think about it? And he was like, how long do you need? And she was like, 10 days, because that was how long she needed for her escape plan. And he turned around and said, you've got 3.
Christ.
So she instantly rang Marquis and was like,
accelerate the plan.
We're leaving today. She was like, bring the van, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, as she was leaving, a church member came back, and Marquis he brought like a bat with him, because he was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And he like walked up to this person's bat with a bat and was like, move your car. And apparently they just like moved their car, but Melanie was like shitting herself, because she was like, this is instantly going back to Robert now. Like that person's instantly going to call Robert and be like, she's leaving. All she cared about was getting her sister. So they went to Pre's, but she refused to leave. She was like, no, I'm staying. And I think that was the last time Melanie saw her until 2023, I think.
Oh my god.
So she left, when did I say she left?
2011. Yeah.
2011, 2012. She didn't see her sister for like 10, 11 years.
Crikey.
So her sister, Priscilla, had awful fucking time in this church. I can't lie. Like, her interview was so heartbreaking to watch.
I'm not surprised.
Like, she's still clearly traumatized. Her relationship with her sister isn't like great. Like, she struggles to even like babysit her sister's kid. Like, she struggles to be involved. And like,
Poor thing.
you can just tell she's like
Not.
been through it.
Yeah.
So she spent 23 years in the church.
Jesus.
She said that the first thing she kind of said was she does actually really miss it sometimes. She still listens to some of Robert's sermons.
Oh my God.
But that's the thing, because some of his sermons would have literally just been just your
Just
average
actual
religious
stuff.
sermon.
Yeah, of course.
And she said that like accepting the reality of what actually happened is so painful that she can't.
She has to distance. She has to actually compartmentalize. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
I
kind
guess?
of. Yeah. But she said that she didn't. The reason she didn't leave when Melanie came and tried to get her to leave was because Robert had instilled this fear already into his members that if you left the church, you became cursed, and that you were doomed to hell. Basically, you couldn't go to heaven if you left.
I don't know if curses are Christian. I'm pretty sure curses are pagan. Like the concept of it is I don't think it's an
I feel
actual.
there's curses in the Bible, isn't there?
There might be. I don't know if those are curses.
We need Ed here.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it might not be framed as a curse though.
That was the word he used.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah, I don't know.
you can be condemned to hell, but cursed to go to hell it's.
Oh no, he said they were cursed.
Yeah, I don't.
But were also doomed to hell. It wasn't like you were cursed to hell. It was you were cursed and you were going to go to hell.
Okay, well, a curse is something very specific. So what was the curse? Robert, come on.
I
need details, Rob. Rob, come on. What's the consequences? I need to know exactly what's going to happen to me.
I don't know.
Rob.
Everything he says seems like bullshit, really.
Rob,
anyway.
let's sit down and talk, because I want to know where you're coming at. What's bullshit? Why are you making it up?
I wonder what his, I don't know, like, I don't want to say thought process, but
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was kind of like scared to leave.
Sure.
And then I think that was very much reinforced that when Melanie left, he became like really, she was like, he became so attentive of me. He was like love bombing her.
Right.
Like started really controlling her, saying like, that like Pre was the only one that could save Melanie. She was the only one that could ensure that Melanie still went to heaven.
Right. Oh no.
She started massaging him. Escalated into sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Pre said that she had a sexual relationship with him, again, because she felt she had to save her sister, and that the way he had made her feel was that by having this relationship with him and obeying him, she was repenting for her sins.
Okay.
She actually at one point became really ill, like physically ill. She couldn't eat. She was throwing up a lot. And Robert said to her that that was the evil leaving her body. And that only by spending more time with him would she be purified.
These leaders, these people who are in charge, they always have. They
always know what to say.
They know what to fucking
say,
say, don't they? They're so fucking clever, or they think they're so fucking clever. It's like, oh yeah, if you do this, then this is this. This means this, and you will believe what I say because I've instilled this relationship with you already.
Well, yeah, if you truly believe that person is a man of God as well, you don't think that he'd ever do something morally wrong, because
Absolutely.
God is not morally wrong. He is a savior. He is
the absolute
a good person. Well, not person, I guess he's more than a person, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it's just manipulation, really.
It is cold hard manipulation, and it is wrong.
Yeah. But she said that she lived like that for 10 years, having this relationship with him. She had actually printed out and stuck scripture around her room that Robert would come and visit her in to try and heal herself, repent, whatever. And she actually didn't leave until May 2022
Wow, that's so recent.
because her point of breaking, and she said that when she left, she still felt like she was cursing herself and dooming herself
Oh
to
my
hell.
God.
Robert's wife basically burst into her room one day, like destroyed the room and just like physically assaulted her.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, you know what?
If
I'm gone.
if she's not okay with it, it's probably not legit.
Yeah. So that was why she left.
Mm.
It was such a rough watch, I can't lie.
Mm.
But so that was like the two main people that came out.
So this information, where did you get this from? Was this from your own research, or was this from a documentary?
So this was a bit of everything. So this was a main documentary, and then some YouTube videos, and then other research into some public records, because, and I will get to this, there is a current civil case against them.
Okay.
So there is public information available, and it's not great.
No, I bet.
But would you like to hear the response, the church's response to these allegations?
God, all right, here we go. These are always fantastic.
So the church and 7M have denied all allegations.
Obviously.
Surprise, surprise. Also, so hearing that former members were looking to sue, so former dance members, Melanie and Pre, the Wilkins family. Actually, I don't know if the Wilkins family are looking to sue. Excuse me.
They just want their family back.
They want, yeah. He actually sued Melanie and Pre first.
Oh, okay.
He sued them for conspiracy to commit defamation.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't know what the outcome of that case was.
Interesting.
Miranda and James have stated that their marriage is genuine and that their relationship with 7M is strictly professional. Miranda was also said that she actually asked Melanie if they could continue the Walking Sister brand, but just needed some space, needed some time, because she had, just got married and needed to organise her life.
Sure.
And like Melanie agreed to it, but nothing ever came of it.
Mm.
She also claims that her and her family have communicated within the past couple of years. So the accusations that they have said that they have no contact is false.
It's baseless, yeah.
I feel like that's because in their minds, the contact they have had is superficial, isn't real. That's the same as no contact.
Sure.
So in July 2024, just after the documentary came out, Miranda did actually do an Instagram post. And I am going to read it to you.
Okay.
So you can get, like, this is probably the biggest response. So I'm going to take a little sip of wine so that the voice
Just
pipes are,
prepare yourself, yeah. Strap in, boys.
This was a Netflix documentary. This was her. So the Wilkins sister came from the Netflix documentary, and this was her response to that documentary. Not like news articles or anything. It was specifically to the documentary.
Gotcha.
Hey everyone.
Good start.
Just wanted to hop on here and say that I have seen the documentary. I want to start by saying that I appreciate the concern that has been expressed for my well-being. Due to pending litigation, in which I am a plaintiff in a defamation lawsuit, it's not appropriate for me to comment on specific allegations, though I will state that I do not condone abuse in any way. I cannot speak for anyone else but myself. I love my mum, dad, and Melanie, and they will forever be a part of my life. The truth is, we just don't see eye to eye at this time. I believe that this documentary is a one-sided story. I gave my life to Jesus Christ in 2020 and asked my family for some space in the very beginning to collect my thoughts and process my new walk I wanted to take with God. I also told my sister that I wanted to continue our Wilkins Sister social media page. She logged me out of her account, and when I asked for access back, she denied my request. So I had no other choice but to start my own account and pursue my own career. I still have yet to receive access into our account. My family didn't honour the space I asked for, and I saw a different side of them I've never seen before. Honestly, it made me mad, frustrated, and annoyed that they were being so overbearing and chaotic. In 2020, I went to Michigan to visit my family for Christmas. My papa was taken to hospital due to medical issues. We got a phone call saying that he had a short time before he would pass. Melanie and I drove to the hospital to say our last goodbyes. Before we went into the hospital to do so, I started to pray for our papa in the car, and Melanie got offended, angry with me, and told me to stop and to never pray around her. Our papa passed away that day. Thoughts?
Wow. I mean, that does seem like a genuine response. It doesn't seem like that's been written by a media manager, as it were. At least to me. If it is, then it's very well written. I mean, it's all entirely
He said, she said.
plausible, but it is a he said, she said situation, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, that's difficult then, because if that's, I imagine there are a lot of sort of two sides to these stories, both with the sisters and the Wilkins family, or whatever family, I don't know. Yeah, it's because I know some people that there's a lot of, sometimes there is a bit of stigma sometimes around sort of religion and some people's relationship with religion. So if the family genuinely wasn't very accepting, or they were maybe and there could have been overbearing because they were so concerned potentially, but then the sort of interpretation was misconstrued, as it were. It can be ununderstandable then if someone is asked for space and someone is not giving you space, that you put more of a wall up towards it. That's absolutely fair.
I do feel like, though, with her comment about it being one-sided, and I think James's sister also came out and was like, well, our family wasn't interviewed. I do wonder, because I don't know if Netflix asked them for a comment.
Yeah,
They might have been asked to interview and said no, but also because that documentary wasn't just about the Wilkins sister. That was what started, because that's how it got back into the public eye. But then most of that documentary was about Melanie and Priscilla Lee, and their experiences within the church. And I feel like it's kind of like her accusing them of making this documentary because she has a relationship with God.
Right.
Whereas, like, it wasn't really about, like, it didn't focus on the religion really at all. It focused on
the sisters, Priscilla,
the exploitation
and
the manipulation of the members.
Well, yeah, because every documentary will have a,
they still want wow factor, they still want drama.
Oh no, I was going to say, no, it's every documentary has an agenda, because the director or producer of the documentary has something that they want to say, or a message they want to get across, whether consciously or unconsciously. They want to say something with what they're showing.
Yeah.
So whether or not it was how much they believe, either story, whether or not they did reach out to them and they either didn't, say yes to interviews or things like that, or they just didn't reach out to them because they didn't think it was worth them having that input. It is difficult to say without more aspects to the story, and especially this is so recent. It will be interesting to sort of follow this up and see if any more information comes out, I think.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I guess because again, it is, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. It could very much be that she has found God, and
which is fine. That's lovely for her.
And her family aren't like
as supportive as potentially it could be. But on the other side of that, if there is, this sort of sexual exploitation going on and other things on the actual side of the church,
I think that's her parents'
issue.
main worry. Like, I think her mum definitely said, like, when they found out about these sexual accusations, they were worried that was happening to their daughter.
Yeah, it's odd that, the fact that these two entities are connected are then the personnel involved connected? Is there any crossover between what's happening here to...
I feel as well like issues in so deep as well, because that's the thing. I think that what was her name? Was it Dr. Jar Jar from Twin Flames has said that once you get in so deep, once you're in that, like, being brainwashed effectively,
it's not who you are.
It won't be until the leader is taken down that those people will leave. But so there is current legal proceedings going on. So one point that one of the investigative journalists made was, it's actually incredibly hard to sue a cult.
Of course it is.
Because leading a cult and being part of a cult is not technically illegal. You have to prove that an actual crime is happening or has happened.
Yeah.
Only one person has ever tried to sue Robert before. Her name was Lydia Chun. She was a former Shekinah member. She sued Robert for stealing, brainwashing, and cutting off family.
Okay.
She did not win this case. Now, the public record of this case is fascinating, because the judge does actually state in his, they write like a summary at the end.
They do.
That there was evidence of psychological manipulation.
Okay.
But he said that it was off his hands, so the case was dropped due to the protection of the First Amendment for religious organizations.
Yeah. Which
is that if adults... Sorry, it just clicked really weird. So it's if adults join willingly, no matter how much that group starts to get more and more control over their lives and minds, because they joined willingly and it's protected as a religious organization, it's not of legal concern.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do legally. So she failed. Pri and Melanie Lee, not the sister.
Thank you.
Is currently suing Robert in the church. So they're currently trying to encourage other members to come forward, particularly those who were sexually abused, because one woman who was also a former dancer had said that she came forward and talked about her kind of sexual exploitation to the police, and they said there was nothing they could do unless more women came forward.
That's kind of horrible.
Because one woman's not enough.
Which it should be. Absolutely should be.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
If a crime is committed against one person, justice needs to be done for that person.
Yeah. So more women have gone forward, and actually it's not until recently that Pri filed her own, because she very much said, like, throughout the documentary, she was like, I don't want to file a criminal complaint because I've had to tell my story so many times, I don't want to go through it again. At the end, she does. Okay. So I think she has now filed one. But so because they're involved, they can't serve Robert. So in a civil lawsuit, if you're suing someone, you serve them papers. Yeah. So they got their friends to serve him, and there's a video of Robert being served. So they followed him into a Korean restaurant. Okay. And he's there with, like, his son and I think a few other people, because his son also got served, I think, and a couple of other people got served. But it was mainly to Robert. Yeah. And they, you go up to him like, Robert Shin, and he's like, yeah. He's like, you've been served. They just drop the papers in front of him. Because you don't have to. I didn't know this. You don't have to hand the papers. You just have to drop them. Yeah. If they don't pick it up, that's on them. Because you've still served them, they're still under legal obligation.
To turn up.
The video is horrible.
God.
Because they serve him, and he just kind of smiles and laughs. And I just think, like, he thinks he's so untouchable. Yeah. Because he's been sued before and won.
Of course.
The lawsuit is due to go on trial July this year.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep an eye on that.
But it's also, I think, as well, difficult because how do you get a non-biased jury?
Yeah.
because it is within the court of public opinion.
Okay.
And it's hard now to find someone without
a bias, either to or for it.
Yeah.
Currently,
though, no criminal charges have been brought against Robert, because this is all a civil case.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no criminal charges. That's why they're still encouraging women to come forward, because at the moment they're only suing him for, all the fucked up things he's doing, but there's not enough to make a criminal case.
Gotcha.
I hate this man so much.
Yeah, this guy's fucking dodge.
It's always a man with an ego, I'm just saying.
I ain't saying nothing.
But yeah.
But you are right.
So that is all I have on this.
The
7M controversy, let's say. And the church. And it's just Robert Shin, to be honest.
That was a good amount of research. Well done.
Thank you.
Took
me a very long time.
I was going to say, you worked very hard on that. That was a lot.
But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping tabs on this one. And I'm very looking forward to the case in I don't know how much it'll be publicized.
I was going to say, do we want to try and keep tabs on it and maybe do a couple of episodes on anything?
We can do a little updates depending on the outcome, but the thing is, it's due to start.
Yeah,
it could take years.
True.
And also I don't think it'll be publicized so much because it is so public already.
That's fair.
It will probably be quite a closed trial, because if it's open, that leads to normally more bias.
True.
In certain cases, and I think because it's already going to be hard to find an unbiased jury,
right?
Because it's not. I don't know if they have a jury in civil cases. Do they have a jury, or is it only in criminal?
You know what? I have no idea. I know very little about the law.
I don't know how it works
in America
either.
Yeah.
I don't know how I have no idea how it works in this country. Do civil
on the fly research.
I feel like because even the judge. I know judges are meant to be inherently non-biased, but
don't judges have to swear on the Bible as well, or something in America?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Well, I know presidents do, generally. Some choose.
They can in the US. They can involve a jury, but it's not guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
That system was so confusing. It's not guaranteed, and the right to a jury trial is primarily preserved by the 7th Amendment for cases at common law where the value in controversy exceeds $20. I think this one might exceed that.
It should exceed. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Well, yeah, because they have...
It reserves a right to a jury trial in civil cases in federal court.
Well, then...
So then it's not... It doesn't apply to state courts, and only some states guarantee a right to a jury trial. So it differs by state.
God, okay. Well, because I know in America you get those, shows like Judge Judy and the other guy who's actually quite nice.
I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah.
They don't have juries.
They don't have juries. It's just sort of the judge's decision sort of there and then. So I'm not sure.
In a civil case, a petty jury decides whether the plaintiff establishes with evidence that it's more likely or not.
Don't get into legal jargon. Anyway.
I think basically, so it's not guaranteed. It differs from state to state. And if there is a jury, it's usually a smaller. That's all that means.
Okay.
Petty jury is just small jury.
Yeah. Get that French.
So, yeah, I don't know.
We will find out.
So I guess I don't know if it'll be publicised or not. But yeah, we'll see. We'll maybe do an update depending on the outcome, if there is an outcome. I wish them all the best, but I see him winning.
That suck.
Because there's just not... I don't think there's enough.
If there's not enough evidence, then yeah.
Especially if there's no criminal charges against him.
True. Well, they might be able to use some of the things that happened in the documentaries,
Yeah, but then
evidence.
there's the argument. The 100% the defendant argument will be, it's a documentary. They're always embellished or played up for the camera because it's for they need that
revenue sort of
hooked wow factor drama kind of thing.
I suppose. Again,
maybe I should be a lawyer.
Well, again, that depends on the director bias and Agenda. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our last little bit.
Last little section.
Is my little psychology section.
You love these.
Because I'm a nerd.
You love these. It's great.
So again, I didn't want to go into psychology of cults again because we have covered it before. Brief rundown, I guess, is targets. They tend to target vulnerable people, usually at a point in their life where they need community and somewhere to belong. They use the thing that sets cults apart is the use of undue influence, which is basically when they take away your free will. What else? They tend to use like quite a lot of like psychology things that do work, but they use it in like a manipulative way. Yeah.
Effect. Yeah. Cults are after your freedom, your money.
They love cutting you off from family.
Yeah. They're after your freedom, your money, and your.
They just want to control you, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, they like giving you a new identity.
Yeah.
That is a big thing about them.
Yeah.
But I wanted. Sorry.
No, I was going to say some cults probably believe that they're doing the right thing, and they actually are, trying to help people. And some definitely are just doing it for their own gain.
Is that a cult then, or is that just a failed group?
Who knows?
But yeah, so I wanted to do the psychology of social media.
Okay.
So when I actually looked. Okay, go on. Yeah, go on.
Okay. And what's the definition of social media?
Oh, fuck knows, I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
Media with.
If you say social.
Okay, well, I think social media, online ways of communicating. So obviously you've got Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube,
Reddit.
I guess. I don't know. Great. Now I know I should have looked at the definition. No, well. But my view, or like my opinion on its effect on mental health, is actually quite different to what I discovered.
Okay.
So I've got like an overview of kind of its effects it can have, and then I have a couple of studies. Which would you like first?
Let's do the studies.
The studies?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I think I'm very 50-50 about social media. I think it can be a really good thing, and I can think that it's also a bad thing. So the studies kind of show, like, overall there's not really a general effect of social media on mental health, because like some studies find there is, some studies find they're not, so it's a bit like a grey area, I guess. So this first study examined the impact of Facebook's introduction on college students' mental health. So they found that the introduction of Facebook led to a significant increase in mental health issues, including depression and anxiety. Students exposed to Facebook for longer periods report worse mental health outcomes, but there was little to no significant impact on students' physical health.
Interesting. So when you say exposed to Facebook, that's quite a general term because Facebook is so large. When was this study taken place?
Do you know what? I didn't write down the date for that one.
Okay.
These were all, I only looked at studies from 2020.
Okay.
So within the last 4 years.
Sure.
I don't know why I didn't, because I've written down the dates for
everything else.
Oh, not the third one.
No, that's fine.
I think the third one was in 2020. Oh no, I did write the dates out for the other one. Why didn't I write down the dates for this one?
I don't know.
These were all in the last 4 years,
Okay,
though.
that's fine. I just think because Facebook
isn't a thing really in younger people.
Well, it's a very large entity as well, and there are so many pages on Facebook and so many things you can be looking at. Is it the marketplace? Is it the videos? Is it?
I think it's like general doom scrolling.
Just general doom scrolling. Okay.
So yeah, so they chose people that that didn't have Facebook.
Okay.
Because I only just recently got Facebook back again. And I hate it.
It's that bad, huh?
It's just rubbish. Because, like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know because I've only just got it. The algorithm hasn't learned what I like because I
sure.
also don't go on it ever.
Mhm.
The only person I message on it is you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I just don't. It's just. So then I wonder if that's their experience is because it just shows you random stuff.
What age people did you say it was for again? College.
College students.
Okay, interesting.
So this is US college.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
So their colleges are uni, isn't it?
High
Yeah,
school?
because they're high school until 18.
Yeah.
Then they go to college, which is
Yeah.
like 18 to 22, 23, depending on how long you're there.
I think then, is the university then longer than that if they then go to...
No, their universities are called colleges. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So we call it university, they call it college.
Isn't a college like a specific school? Like you have the college of something? Am I just diving too into it?
No, I think they're just called colleges.
Okay. Right.
Because our colleges is like sixth form, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
US college is what we call university.
no, but they also have like the University of Sacramento, or as an example, or something, or MIT, Harvard University. I think it's Harvard University instead of Harvard College. I'm not sure. On the fly research.
Apparently they just use it interchangeable in the US.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Universities typically offer undergrad and grad.
Okay.
But colleges often focus on undergrad.
Gotcha. Cool.
But some colleges do also have graduate programs, and so I think it's just used interchangeably.
Fair enough. No
I think
problem.
if they just use colleges more.
Let's just say demographic 18 to 21. Generally.
22.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That's interesting. Because my personal experience with Facebook, I think I got Facebook when I was 13.
Oh, I got it when I was 13, and then
Yeah.
I deleted it in 20. When did my mum die? Fuck.
Last year. No?
Yeah. Sorry, I forget what year it is.
Yeah, you kind of blanked out there, didn't you?
I really did.
Yeah. Okay.
It's because I was thinking 1 year anniversary was this year. I forget what month it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I deleted it. Start of last year,
Sure.
and then I got it back
This month.
this month. I don't
This
know
year.
why. I think it was mostly because I wanted to catch up with see my family, because like babies were being born in my family that I didn't know about, because I'm not in the family WhatsApp group or anything. So like my dad would be like, oh, so and so, and I'm like, who the hell is
Who
that?
is this? Yeah. But yeah,
because
so
my family live in Australia, so
that's fair enough. Yeah, so I think I got Facebook when I was 13. I think it was something that my parents didn't really want me to have until I was sort of old enough. And looking back, 13.
you only have to be 14, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or either way. However old I was when I got it, wasn't old enough. Because several times I've gone onto my Facebook and I've just purged stupid posts and things like that of embarrassing stuff that I don't want anyone to ever see.
Yep. I've seen a few.
And I'm sure you have. Because there is just, random just shit that
Do you know what's a really easy way to purge it? If you delete your account and make a new one. That's what I did.
Yeah, but there's some memories on there that I, do want to keep.
Oh my god, there was nothing on mine that I wanted to keep.
Some photos that are, funny just to look back on.
I think
things like that. It is a good, for me, my sort of Facebook page, it's sort of a useful as my own, almost like my own history, I suppose. Just having that as a photo album in and on itself. I would love to sort of print off photos and just have all of them, from there available to me as those sort of memories.
Yeah, I'm so glad mine are all gone.
Fair enough.
There was a picture of me on Facebook of when I was like 15 going through my scene phase with the dip dyed hair and the choppy fringe.
We love a scene phase.
And like there was also a picture of me when I was 11 and like quite an overweight child. And I really wish I still had that photo though, because I used to love showing that photo to people and being like, and they wouldn't believe it was me.
Aww.
And I'd be like, yeah, no, that was me.
Oh
Puberty hit like a fucking train.
But yeah, but now Facebook is, it's more of just
I
something
think
that
it's the worst social media.
it's something that I've looked back on, and I will only ever really use it now. I generally don't post. I think over the last, I don't know how many years, but I've never not posted on it for a very long time.
I don't even scroll on it.
It's just something I use for Messenger. Generally, it's a messaging service.
I got it just for Messenger.
I've used it. I think I used Facebook Marketplace a few times, but that's it. But it's generally my messaging service. That's what Facebook is to me.
I got it just for Messenger, and then you are the only person I message on it. And then the only thing I post to it is I share Instagram posts.
Yep. Nice.
That's literally it.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's study 1.
Cool.
Study 2. So the next 2 studies are both systematic reviews. Do you know what a systematic review is?
No.
So systematic reviews or meta reviews are so every like few years someone will look at all the research on a topic and then kind of make like look at general patterns,
Try and collate data.
Yeah. So this one was a systematic review of the relationship between social media use, sleep quality and mental health
Interesting.
in 16 to 25-year-olds. So they found that excessive social media was linked to poor mental health outcomes, including high rates of depression, anxiety, and psychological distress. Frequent social media use, especially before bedtime, looking at you, is associated with poor sleep quality, and that poor sleep quality then is a significant predictor of mental health issues. So this was kind of like a systematic review that is like this cycle of that this social media is linked to like poor mental health outcomes, especially because if you're using it before bed, it disturbs your sleep cycle, which makes you tired and leads to mental health issues.
Interesting.
Because sleep is very important.
Sleep's very important. Is it social media or is it phones in general? How's that for a question?
Both.
Okay.
I mean,
is it the
using your phone before bed is bad anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I've started like making sure that
you're reading.
I shower, do all my skincare, and then read before bed, so I have a good like hour before I sleep where I'm just not looking at my phone, where I'm not using my phone.
Very healthy for you.
And I love when I'm sat in bed reading and you're on your phone next to me. And who sleeps more?
Well, I go to work. I actually have to get up and drive to work early in the morning, so.
Yeah. Okay. But you would have better quality sleep if you didn't look at your phone.
Better quality? Sleep fine. I mean, I'm tired all the time, but I
okay, buddy. But yeah, so that was specifically to do with sleep. Study number 2, these are just very brief overviews. These studies are all like 20 pages long journal articles, but I would be here forever. So this is another umbrella review, like meta-analysis. So this would look to research published between 2019 and mid-21. And this was to assess the impact of social media use on adolescent mental health. So they found that most reviews concluded that the association between social media use and adolescent mental health is weak or inconsistent, while some characterised it as substantial and harmful. Social media use had weak correlations with both higher well-being and higher ill-being, and the effects of SMU on mental health are not uniform, because different types of social media use may have opposite effects.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that is why. So in my view before I researched into it was social media is bad for your mental health.
Sure.
But when you look at all the studies, because so many are like, yeah, it's good, and so many are like, yeah, it's bad, there is no real clear answer, because it can be good, it can be bad, and a lot of that does depend on what social media you are using.
I was going to say, I think it depends on the social media you are using, the type of content you're absorbing, and also genuinely the person you are, because some people are more susceptible to influences on social media.
Because I think like X. I think about how much hate and horrible political stuff that I see on X always makes me feel a bit shit sometimes when I come off it.
I feel like
But then I
X,
go and watch YouTube and I'm like, yeah, this is great.
I feel like X is the least regulated social
Oh
media.
god, it's so bad. Ever
Yeah.
since Elon Musk bought it, it's been
I think even before then,
awful.
because I used to have a Twitter and I deleted it even before it became X. But yeah, and even that stuff is really.
Before Musk bought it, I never had tweets from political views that were so opposite of mine and made me feel uncomfortable, and I've had so many since.
But then the sort of thing is there a need for that outlet? Is it almost like a human right for people to be able to sort of put their opinions out there?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you can't post it, but the algorithm should know that I don't want to see it
Right.
based on what I interact with.
Sure.
And I'm just saying the amount of hate and horrible things that I've seen on there has definitely increased.
Okay. And is that a detriment to your mental health, do you think? Or do you not think it has an effect on you?
I don't think X has much effect on me anymore because I don't use it as much.
Interesting.
I don't really mean anymore. I mean just because I don't use it as much anymore. Okay. Maybe if I was on it for more, then it would start to. But I just don't really, because it's so like unregulated and so much more like just shit on there that I don't feel like interacting with or get any enjoyment from. I don't use it as much.
Yeah, I mean personally, I generally don't interact with anything on social media. I will scroll on stuff and just look through and send funny things to my friends and you that I like on Instagram, but that's the only interaction I have really on social media. But there are some people who use it every day, who quote and well not quote but
actually post things
to everyone and everyone. And I don't know. I've never been that way. Like I've posted a few. Like when I was younger, I posted a few things that I look back on and it's very cringy. But it was because it was
you think you're like the Mutts Nuts?
No,
I've seen them.
But it's the sort of like trends basically. Like this post and I'll do this trend for you or things like that. But I don't know. I don't know if it's something that I grew out of or it just stopped appealing to me or whatever it was. But yeah, it's just interesting that some people are so active on social media and some people are, I don't really like the term, but I guess lurkers.
Yeah. I think the overview of this is very much that social media can be very good. It definitely gives a lot of people like opportunity to connect, like education wise. I think it's really good if you're specifically looking to be educated on something, like educational videos. Just even being exposed to other people's opinions makes you more open-minded. It also gives you a place to express. So I think it can be good, especially with like connection and messaging. I think it's the excessive use where it starts going downhill.
Sure.
I think this is a lot about what this is about and not the research that came up, because the rest of this is just all the negative effects of it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So you've got cognitive effects, emotional effects, behavioral effects, and identity development.
Interesting.
So cognitive effects is so this is like general trends that have kind of been found. Again, this is very like wishy-washy grey area because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
There's not enough sort of study and data to prove one way or the other.
No. I think that is also because people use different types of media. People have different times spent on media. But so cognitive effects, and this is definitely one that I've noticed even within myself. But social media has had this really bad effect on attention span, and because of like information overload. So the continuous scrolling, which is something you do, of short form content has been linked to diminished attention spans and dopamine driven reinforcement loops, which is the idea that this short little video is funny, it makes you laugh, it releases dopamine, so you keep going basically.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps users engaged in social media. I've definitely found this it's like when I was at uni, when I was studying like every day, like so much, I didn't really use social media a lot. The most I used social media was when I ran social media for a charity during uni.
Yeah.
And I could sit down and study for hours.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
no,
I don't think I could do it. That's one thing I'm dreading about trying to get back to uni, is that I'm like, am I going to be able to sit down and like even research for this? I have to break it up over like a couple of weeks because I'm like, I can't sit down and just
log it all out,
go anymore. Like I have to break it up. I've definitely noticed my attention span's been worse.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's hard to say for me. I mean, it's been such a long time since I've been using.
But you don't really use it anyway, so.
I mean, I've noticed a decline in my usage of my social media, of not even just social media, but generally my phone usage. I think it's gone down. It used to be.
It is different when you're working as well.
It's true.
Because you don't really use your phone at work.
No.
I mean, I used to at my work because.
I can remember a lot of
we
last.
Didn't really do anything.
I can remember a lot of last years. I would average maybe between 4 and 6 hours a day.
Oh my god! I never ever turn my screen time on. I'd be horrified to look.
It's horrible to look what it is.
Yeah.
But now it's way down. It's like 1 to 2 hours and a day on it, which is nice. It's much nicer. But yeah, I think it is. Again, it sort of depends on what you're looking at. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of this other point, is that the other cognitive effect it can have is distorted reality in this thing we call comparison bias.
Okay. Wait, what's the second bit? I don't know.
Comparison bias.
Okay.
You know what bias is?
I know what bias is.
So it's the idea that like it kind of makes you feel like you assess your own self-worth based on what you see, but what you see is biased because what people post is not their real life. It's an idealized self.
Of course it is, yeah. People only want to show the best part of themselves. No one shows their true self on social media, really. Everyone wants to look their best. No one wants to be perceived. No one there has been trends of like, woke up like this or whatever it is, of no filter, things like that.
Oh my god, I look like a rat in the morning. I would never post what I look like in the morning.
But like, yeah, things like that, honesty, like filters and stuff. But yeah, people generally, especially photos, because people want to be, no one.
Oh yeah, you've seen like how many photos I take before I'll actually post one that I like.
I mean, we all do it. We're all guilty.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken a picture and image be like, yeah, that's nice, I'll post that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck no. But yeah, that's like cognitive effects. So the emotional effects it can have, I think this is probably the biggest one, is FOMO, fear of missing out. I think this has really been amplified by the fact that you can track most things in real time now.
Yeah.
You've got like, I don't really know how many people use Snapchat anymore, but like Snap Maps was a big thing for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what the youth use nowadays.
Yeah, no, people still use Snapchat a lot, and it's worrying.
Yeah,
it's worrying.
I had a couple of friends that had Snapchat, and I was like, why a 22-year-old do you still have Snapchat?
Yeah, dodge.
I think the last time I used Snapchat, I was 18.
Yeah, I haven't had it since.
I think my first year of uni was probably the last time I used it.
I think I deleted it either while at uni or just after.
Oh, I did get it. That's a lie. I did get it back about a year ago for a short period of time because it was the only way that you could get an answer from one of my friends because he used it. And that he was the only person I talked to. That was the only time I ever used it, was to talk to him.
What are you hiding, bro? That's what I got. Why are people still using Snapchat? What are you hiding?
Well, things on Snapchat don't even disappear anymore, do they? That's why you can like keep them.
Well, that was the whole point of it. That was the whole point of it. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
But another thing is that anxiety can be heightened by push notifications, and it contributes to this thing called anticipatory. Am I saying that right? Anticipatory anxiety, which reinforces compulsive checking behaviors. And I've 100% done this before.
Oh, I check. Yeah.
If I've like texted someone something risky, and I'm like dreading their answer to something, and I will just, constantly be checking.
Sure.
Even though I know that I'll get a notification.
Yeah, exactly. Have I missed it? No, of course I haven't missed it.
But I will keep checking, because you don't even think about it when you check. That's why it's compulsive. But it also creates this like it's like social media creates a paradox of connection.
Yep.
Because it increases your online interactions but reduces your real life ones.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, leading to a bit of, cheeky little social isolation. I don't think I've found that really.
No.
But I don't really have a lot of online interactions or real life ones. So I'm kind of just like, I'm just lonely.
Fair enough. I've always valued in-person interactions more than online stuff. I mean, sometimes online is the only way you can communicate with people, but
I do find it easy if you get to know someone online first before you meet them. I mean, I got to know you online before I met you in person. We had a lot of online communication before we met.
We did. Yeah. It's not my preference, but it's how it worked out.
I don't think I would have been confident enough, though, to see you if we didn't have that talk before.
That's fair, yeah.
But I'm just awkward.
You're not that awkward.
Around you anymore.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. No, I think if I'm meeting someone online, I think I'd want to go from saying hello to seeing them in person as soon as possible. Because I always find...
Maybe my thing is that it's kind of maybe it's different for me because I'm a woman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely comes into it. But I just personally, I think I come across so much better in person than I do online. I think my personality, I think my personality comes across a lot better in person than
I think you're very much the same.
That's very
Actually, I don't know. Sometimes your texts are a bit dead.
That's because I'm busy.
Don't care.
I don't have time.
I'm your wife, bro. You should.
I don't have time to just to
Why not?
construct an entirely detailed message.
You used to.
I'm at work. I got stuff to do.
You used to care before we got together.
That's so rude. How dare you?
You used to send me long power. You used to stay up so late talking to me. Oh, I guess now you're just in bed next to me, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't need to send you paragraphs. I can talk to you throughout the day. I can hear you
snoring in real life. Ow!
Dare you? I don't snore. Yeah, I definitely snore.
But yeah, so that's the paradox connection. I guess it's the other really big emotional thing, but this thing called negative emotional contagion, which is kind of what I said about like when I see like hate and stuff on X. I'm quite good at being like not internalizing it, because if I see something that makes me uncomfortable, I'll just go and block that account or mute it, or I'll just close it down and be like, yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely done that.
But a lot of people can just internalize that. And then obviously as well with cyberbullying.
Okay.
Cyberbullying is awful because you can't escape it. Because like with normal bullying, it's a bit different because you can kind of come home and be like, yeah, that was shit, but like once you've left like school,
a certain environment,
or it's like doesn't follow you, but cyberbullying just
it is there all the time,
follows you around. So I think that's kind of like the bad thing about it. It's a bit inescapable sometimes.
We get into a whole different side tangent on cyberbullying and why that's got such terrible effects, but yeah, fair enough.
It has a terrible effect on mental health because it's bullying.
Well, no, I know. But
I know what you mean, though, yeah. But behavioural effect is the really interesting one for me. So, again, with sleep, with it disrupting sleep, late night social media use is linked to poor sleep quality, and exposure to blue light suppresses melatonin production, which, again, is your point about, is it social media or is it your phone? But what do you, I think most people, when on their phone at night at bed, most are going to be consuming social media. Like, what else are you going to be doing on your phone at night before bed apart from playing a mobile game?
Talking again on social media. You might be checking your finances. You could be following up on an email that you've sent out before work. You could be following the stock market. You could be
generally most people are probably going to be
they are. They're doing
that
or they're watching something on their phone, and either way, then
YouTube is social media.
No, I was going to say, but like people have Netflix apps and Disney Plus apps and stuff on their phones as well now. So,
but yeah, it is exposure to blue light as well.
Absolutely.
Again, addictive behaviors with dopamine loops. So social media operates on what is something that is called intermittent reinforcement schedule. So likes, comments, notifications trigger a dopamine release, which in turn reinforces checking behavior. So like I mean I'm guilty of this. If I post something on Instagram and I get a like on it, I'll then like look at my phone a few more times. And if I don't get notifications to see, you know, has it got more likes, comments, whatever, I am guilty of that. I'll admit it. I'm not ashamed.
That's fine. No, it's such a it's a very common, it's a very human thing at the moment. So
yeah. But these two other ones they just have really good names as well. So something that's really increasing in younger users is nomophobia, which is the fear of not having a phone.
Oh, okay.
And phantom vibration syndrome, which is when you perceive
that you've got a text,
that your phone's vibrated and give you a notification when it hasn't. I've definitely had that happen to me before. I feel like it's just because my phone's in my pocket and like I've moved my leg and like the fabric against it makes it feel like it buzzed.
I think a lot of people have had that sort of sensation before, definitely.
But I just think it's got a great name.
It's a great name.
It is a great name.
Yeah.
But that's sort of like behavioural things that have kind of increased. And the last bit is just about identity development and self-perception. So younger users tend to construct their identities partly through online validation, which can lead to fragile self-esteem. And exposure to idealized beauty standards increases body dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
This is a close to home one for me because I think it was only like 4 days ago I said to you, like, I see all these beautiful women on social media and it makes me feel shit about myself.
Literally.
And I like come to you and I'm always like, do you actually find me pretty? Like, do you actually find me beautiful?
Every time it's, oh my God, just look in the, like, I can't express.
Like, I can't look in mirrors.
Yeah, that's true. But I cannot express, like, how gorgeous you are. And yet you can't see it, which is.
Because I'm always, I just see.
Of course you are. You're such a big comparison to other people. And I genuinely, I want you to be able to see you from my eyes because I think I've got a much better judgment on what you look like than you do, to be honest.
But no, I think it's a hard one. Because again, that comes back round to like that comparison bias. Like, you know, I see all these beautiful women, but I don't know like how much their photos are edited. Sure. Like just because like I find them pretty doesn't mean everyone else is going to find them pretty, or that means that I'm not pretty. But I always I hate it, and that is the social media I try to avoid the most.
Sure.
Which is why I don't ever really like I post to Instagram, but I never really scroll it.
Okay.
Because if I see pictures of women, I'm like,
oh,
now I feel shit about myself. I feel like I need clearer skin, bigger boobs, bigger bum, to be skinnier, you know, that kind of thing. Because society has a horrible view of how women should look anyway. But...
It does, yeah. I mean, yes, it is. I think it's much, I wouldn't say it's much more than men, but there is an certain emphasis on what women look like. Men do have that at the same time. There is, you know, the sort
all about like being muscly
and stuff.
Yeah,
the sort of ideal masculine body, you know, you want to be Chris Pratt or Hemsworth or whichever one.
We don't advocate for Chris Pratt on this podcast.
Sorry, we don't advocate for
Chris Pratt is a horrible human being, just saying.
Anyway, more importantly, like the physical body, like, you know, the basically being a fucking triangle of muscles.
Which, by the way, I will always stand by the point of I hate that body type.
Okay.
I don't like ripped men.
Okay.
Because when I cuddle my man, I want to feel like I'm not cuddling a rock.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think like it's a vanity thing as well. But that's kind of like with me as well. Like I don't work out because I want to be ripped. I just want to tone my body so that like, you know, I can at least throw my own weight in a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't do it. I just do it to keep healthy as well.
Whereas I like the reason why I want to go to the gym is because I want to look a certain way, and I'm absolutely fine with saying that. Like I would like to be a bit more shapely. I don't want to get super.
You want to be able to
ripped
protect me in a fight.
That too. But I mean, when I first started going to the gym, sort of last year, it was because I was like, I just want vanity muscles. I just want to look good.
I mean, it worked.
Apparently.
The first thing I said to you was like,
oh my god, you look really good.
because I was really drunk when I met you, and I was like, shoulders.
I was very proud of my shoulders.
You look really good in that shirt. I think I just like was staring at you, and I was like,
I was
biceps.
I was bursting out that shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, he's gonna be mine. And I got my way.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that as the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Well, how do you have your story?
It doesn't matter.
You threw yourself at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Anyway.
and that does make it hard for you to kind of. I think especially in like, I think I'm not so much worse is because when that like body idolization and that comparison really started kicking off, I was already kind of like mid-teens. I think for younger generations, especially like now, like if you're being introduced to social media now,
it cements
trying
itself.
to find your identity is awful. Because think about like young girls nowadays look so much older.
Yeah.
Like
it's worrying.
when I was 14, I looked 14. You see 14-year-olds now, they look 20. Because they all start makeup and skincare. Yeah, I saw a video.
Well, there's so many tutorials and things like that online.
I saw a video the other day. There was like this girl who, like, I think she's like 14, 15 in high school, and she was using retinoids. Retinoids or retinol is something that they advise you to start using in your mid-20s. So I've started using it now.
Sure.
I already get told that I look way younger than I do. Like, I get ID'd for energy drinks.
That is also your height, though.
Fuck you. You know, without makeup, I look about 16, to be fair. But, like, so I'm gonna look young forever. But my point is that, because it's meant to, like, slow the appearance of aging on your face.
Right. But, yeah, 14
like, it's like anti-wrinkle kind of stuff.
That's insane.
But yeah, she was like starting it at like 14, 15. It is something they advise in your mid-20s.
Sure. That's nuts.
Why?
Either way, that's nuts.
Like she had like Drunk Elephant products, which is like an expensive skincare. I think when I was about 14, my skincare consisted of like maybe one face wash and a moisturizer.
My skincare has been the same as it always has been. Wash, occasionally moisturize.
I hate you. I mean, my skincare's got so much more detail because I have acne, and even though I know I have hormonal acne, I'm still trying to convince myself that I can fix it through skincare.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think when and it wasn't like brand. I even got into branded stuff more recently because my skin's got so much more sensitive. I have to buy certain brands. Sure. But yeah, having like Drunk Elephant at 14, I never would have been able. How did I afford it? I didn't have pocket money really as a kid. I didn't have money.
Influencing money. I don't know. It's weird.
At 15. Yeah, I don't know.
They get brand deals early these days.
Everyone's trying to grow up quickly.
Yeah.
But,
no one wants to be a kid anymore.
No. And they should, because I mean, I really hope that under 18s don't listen to this podcast.
No, if you're under 18, get permission from your parents.
This is registered as explicit and over 18s.
Get permission from your parents and or legal guardians to listen to this podcast if you're under 18.
But you should definitely enjoy being a child for as long as possible, because being an adult sucks.
Oh my god, the responsibility, just living.
I remember we all used to want to grow up so much, and then we grew up and we were like, I wish I was a kid.
It's just having the time. A lot of it, you know,
not having to
do
think
your
about
own
money and paying bills. And
yeah, you lose
we're
it.
Gonna die one day. And, you know, getting grey hair and your body's giving up.
Yeah,
and it creaks.
Vitality.
Every time I squat, my knee clicks.
Vitality is wasted on the young, or whatever the saying is.
I think I'm on like 4 or 5 different supplements now for various things
already,
and I'm 24.
Yeah,
but
I'm just slowly creeping towards the grave.
enjoy being young. I think I like how we complain about this, but we're still young.
I mean, we are still young. We still can turn our eyes around and do whatever the hell we want. But
I have heard it all goes downhill from when you're 25 though.
Thanks. Yeah, that's my experience.
Great.
Yeah,
can't wait for my birthday. But yeah, that's all I had for you.
That's all you have?
Yeah, that
you
is
don't have anything more?
No, that is the psychology of social media that I have for you.
So psychology, I mean, social media, good, bad, somewhere in between? Should we?
I think somewhere in between. I think my opinion has changed. I know that I need to change the way I use it.
Should it be regulated by an external body?
Yes. I think you shouldn't. Isn't it in Australia or somewhere recently? Is now a law that you can't have like Facebook or something or social media until you're like 15.
Oh, I think there is. I don't know where it is, but I did hear something about that.
I think we should have that. I
That's
definitely
not a bad
think the
idea.
exposure to social media at a young age.
Is
I think we were
rough.
kind of the last generation that was lucky enough for it not to have such a detrimental effect. I think nowadays it's just
if people get exposed to the wrong things too early,
yeah. Especially with how unregulated, how much misinformation is on there, how much explicit content is on there. I don't just mean sex, I mean violence as well.
of course,
anything,
yeah.
anything not safe for work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should. I think it is Australia.
It might be. I'm not sure.
I think we should have something like that. Definitely, I think
in place.
We need to protect our children for as long as possible.
Won't somebody please think of the children? Is that a Simpsons reference?
I don't know.
Either way.
But yeah, so I think it's good in ways of connecting people. I think especially because of like during COVID, it was the only way you could interact with people.
That's the thing, yeah.
Also bad, I think, in younger. I think, it completely depends on what you interact with and how much you interact with it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I think just general use I think is fine. I think it's the excessive use when you start going down rabbit holes is where it quite literally goes downhill.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think somewhere in between. What about you?
I think social media should be far more regulated in and of itself. I think there should be specific uses for the social media. The fact that all of them do everything now, I think is...
Yeah, there's nothing really different between social medias, is there?
It's really just ridiculous. I mean, Facebook has shorts.
Yeah, you can post your Instagram stories to Facebook. I know it's because
it's the same company and things like that, but it's too much choice.
Yeah.
Just if you want to talk to someone.
It's the fact that you can get like TikTok was like this new thing that took over from Vine, and then but Instagram has its own TikTok.
Yeah.
Facebook has its own TikTok.
Yeah. Just pick one, stick with it, and then if you want to talk to your friends, go to one thing. You want to post about something political, go to another. You want to sell something, go to something very specific on that. I think it should be... I mean, maybe I'm being a fucking dinosaur, but I don't know. It'd just be simpler if it was just like, go to this thing.
Back in my day when social media started, God, I remember when Snapchat came out and everyone thought it was like amazing. Yeah.
And now you can just hide messages on your phone if you really want to.
Yeah, because you got disappearing messages on Instagram now as well. Oh my God, we're just going back round again to Snapchat.
We're going back round
full
again.
Circle.
Yeah, here you go.
But
what you got to hide? That's the question. What do people think we're hiding? Why do we need disappearing messages?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very strange.
Although I guess maybe it's... See, my mind, I'm just too innocent. My mind goes to if I'm sharing my address to someone.
Sure.
But I don't want it to... I want them to be able to see it, save it, so they know they can get to me, and then it disappears so it's not on record.
But I mean...
But maybe I'm just too innocent.
But also, if you want that, then a secure messaging system should be fine, as long as you just don't post it online. There's a difference between sending someone a direct private message, or at least there should be, to then actually posting it online. But of course, accounts are vulnerable; they get hacked.
Yeah,
Information gets
exactly.
leaked, so it is a fair enough point. Social media, like everything else in society, should
we are quite literally going to be posting this to social media.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are we part of the problem? But yeah.
Yes. Now we do this for fun.
Yeah,
if anyone takes any negative thoughts or is really affected by the things we say, I'm so sorry.
We never set out to offend.
We do not set out to offend. We do this for our own entertainment. We hope that you are entertained by this as well. And generally, we just do it for fun. But if you would like to engage with any topics we've discussed today, please do so down in the comments, or please, feel free to message us on Instagram or Spotify pages, because I think Spotify has comments now
Yes,
as
you
well.
can comment on Spotify now.
So there you go.
I will put all the links. I keep forgetting to do it, to put in the social media links in the YouTube descriptions, but I will do it, I promise.
So yeah, we're going to go against everything we've just talked about how bad social media
media
is, and we're going to spam it on everything we put out here.
Yep.
But yeah, so we do understand this has been quite a long episode.
This is a very long episode.
We're going to put some maybe timestamps in it, or we might split it up. We'll see. But yeah, thank you very much for all the research you did.
You're welcome.
And thank you all very much for watching and or listening. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.